Today we're going to be exploring Springfield, Missouri, the birthplace of Route 66, including its car museum, Fantastic Caverns, and many of its other points of interest.
I'm riding in my RV, wherever I want to be, 'cause I'm free in my RV, yeah.
Good morning. We started our day here at the local Dodge dealership, Corwin, I believe it is called. Very nice. These are like the nicest people ever, and so it's very high tech. Very. I mean, if you need service on your Dodge or Ram or Jeep, Stellantis vehicle in the Springfield, Missouri area, I totally recommend them. Great service. Now we're gonna go to the local Buc-ee's, because there's a Buc-ee's in town, and then we're gonna backtrack a little bit and do the rest of Route 66. Yeah, it is called Corwin Ram. By the way, they gave us a good bill of health on Peli Cruiser here. Says I shouldn't have any problem, on the road.
Yeah, they took care of our check engine light, and I told them to check everything just in case. We're a long way from home base, and we're going to be, at least with Peli Cruiser, for the foreseeable future. There's a Buc-ee's in town, so we're gonna stop for gas and an early lunch. They are popping up everywhere around the country. And who can say no to reasonably priced gas and a decent brisket sandwich?
$249.9. That's a good deal. Brisket on the board. There's the Peli Cruiser. Well, let's try the Missouri brisket sandwich here. See if it is as good as the other Buc-ee's. It's probably the same, right? Yum. Alright, Buc-ee's was good. The brisket sandwich, very similar to, it seemed a little less sweet and more spicy, but I liked it. And less chopped, bigger pieces of brisket. Anyway, we're gonna backtrack to one town that we skipped yesterday, and then we're gonna start exploring Springfield, the birthplace of Route 66, according to what I've read.
Here we are at a town called Strafford. Let's see what there is to see here.
Well, here we are, decided to backtrack to this town called Strafford, and here's an old gas station. There's not a whole lot to see here. It is believed that the Trail of Tears went through here, and they have like one of those drive-through safaris that we're not really gonna do. But in any case, here's an old gas station. How old do you think these pumps are? Anyway, they say it's contains lead, so it's from the lead era. And I think I'm a car. Sometimes I believe I'm a car. My butt's sticking out a little bit here. Anyway, we're going back to Springfield, and we're gonna, retrace our steps and try to follow the original Route 66 as much as possible. There's a lot to see in Springfield, so.
Springfield is considered the birthplace of Route 66. It was here where on April 1926 they finally agreed on a number for the new route, 66 being a catchier number than 62. Yeah, that was the other option. And the rest is highway history. Our first stop here is the Rest Haven Court from 1947. The sign, which is from 1953, actually served as inspiration for the Munger Muss, and I can certainly see the resemblance.
Oh, here we have another vintage motel from yesteryear, the Rest Haven Court. By the way, I'm parked in the truck parking, so maybe I shouldn't. I just wanted to show you real quick. Seems to be a working hotel. One of those motor courts. Very cool. Once in a while you have to stop at some of this, right? And there's another one coming soon. Let's keep on going into Springfield, Missouri.
Slowly getting into the heart of the city. I mean, they have Chick-fil-A, Whataburger, the drive-thru coffee, and Freddy's Steak Burgers. What else could you ask for? What's next? I think that's it across the street with the Springfield sign. Well, I made a wrong turn. There's no entrance through here, so let's turn around. This is the Rail Haven Motel from 1938, and they expanded it and upgraded it in the 1950s. Let's see if we can find parking in the back.
Oh, here we go, another vintage Route 66 motel sign, the Rail Haven. And this is a real working Best Western right now. So here we go. Here we go, one of those Burma shave signs. Here we have the Route 66 Scenic Byway sign. And here we have right here, the birthplace of Route 66. Elvis stayed here in 1956. That's a fun fact that Elvis stayed here. It would be cool too. And you can stay at his suite too. Here we have this historic vehicle parked here with a British telephone booth. Here we have the old pumps. Here we have another old vehicle. This would be an old Ford. All right, let's see what the next point of interest is.
Muffler Man alert! This one is called the Chef Muffler Man. The business seems to be closed and for sale, so I don't know what's gonna happen to it. Coming up next, Steak and Shake, of course. While this is not the oldest one on the route, it is the most popular one because of the vintage decor.
Well, instead of Buc-ee's, we probably should have saved our appetite for this. On the Route 66 since 1962.
It certainly has a cool vintage sign.
This is one of the original Steak and Shakes. So here we go, we have the Route 66 sign to prove it, and this club and the vintage soda machine here. And check it out, all this. Other than that, it is basically a regular Steak and Shake. I forgot to ask her what the other sign means, but that Takhomasak. Maybe that's the name of the owner? Well, apparently that, name that I thought it was something like a proper name, it means take home a sack. And it's just a made-up word for to go. Anyway, let me see how I can get back on the mother road without too much trouble here. Actually, if I make a left here...
In 50 feet, turn left onto East St. Louis Street.
I don't think I'm supposed
Take
to make
the
a
next
left
left
here.
onto East St. Louis Street.
How about if I make 3 rights and then a left? No.
We definitely have to come back here when we're hungry. Here on the right, we have the Route 66 Springfield Visitor Center, so let's stop and check it out.
Alright, let's check out the Route 66 Visitor Center here.
Here we have some public art.
Here we have Springfield Visitor Center. Oh, here's the timeline of Route 66. Yeah, 1985. That's when it was 84 when it was decommissioned. Yeah, they had the first drive-through restaurant.
It is a very small but pretty neat visitor center with lots of information and some pretty cool artifacts. Before we continue exploring, we need to go pick up an Amazon package, and then we'll come back to this area. Here on the right, this ornate building is the Abu Ben Adem Shrine, nowadays a music venue. We're now in the heart of downtown, and we're going to stop and see all this in more detail a little later. It is all eerily deserted right now, but it is early. Maybe people will come out later, who knows? Now approaching Park Central Square. Here's the History Museum, which I've been told is not to be missed. We're driving on College Street, which happens to be Route 66. This is it. Let me pick up my package. This building here coming up is the Pythian Castle, built in 1913 by the Knights of Pythian. It is nowadays an events venue, and they even offer ghost tours. Let's park.
Right, parallel parked in the street. Walk around Springfield a little bit, which not a very lively town. There's not many people here on the street.
Let's walk a couple of blocks back east towards the shrine. The Abu Ben Adem Shrine was promoted as the largest auditorium west of the Mississippi when it opened in 1923. Even Elvis performed here in 1956. It's built in an arabesque design. I mean, it is truly a remarkable building. Let's take a closer look. And here we have a map of downtown Springfield.
I doubt we're gonna be able to take a peek inside, but let's see. There used to be a shrine mosque from 1922. And this is the view from the front here.
There's not a whole lot of information online.
Oh, very cool looking building. That shrine back there. Well, here, coincidentally, right next to where we parked Peli Cruiser, we have one of those signs that you would, well, take a selfie with, right? Springfield, Missouri. Well, yeah, greetings from Springfield, Missouri. Right, let's walk a little towards the square. And here we have another one of these statues.
Very similar to the one we saw by the Visitor Center. Here's the Woodruff Building from 1911, the first skyscraper in the area, and pretty much the only one we've seen downtown. It was owned by John Woodruff, the man who established the Route 66 Association in 1926 and responsible for the Route 66 designation. Hence, the sign here once again calling Springfield the birthplace of the Mother Road. Over here, the Gillois Theater, which opened in 1926 and unfortunately closed in 1980. It fell into disrepair after that, but it has since been meticulously renovated.
I'm gonna jaywalk here because there's absolutely no traffic, so we can get a closer look here. I guess they do have concerts nowadays. Oh, that looks very fancy in there.
Beautiful. I wish they would offer tours, and apparently sometimes they do.
Check out the old box office. It would be cool. It would be cool to see a play or a concert at a historic venue like this, right? Dublin Pass Irish Pub. Do you think they have enough neon signs? Well, more neon signs than customers for sure.
The European Cafe seems to be for sale.
This would be Park Central Square here. The History Museum here seems to be famous.
The museum is supposed to be world-class, and they do have a Birth of the Route 66 gallery. And this is pretty much all we are able to see. The museum is closed today. Our luck.
Unfortunately, the museum, they're having some kind of special event today, so they're closed. And they are also closed tomorrow. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to see it. You see, it's one of those things like we're gonna have to come back and do the Mother Road again next year for the 100th anniversary. I'm gonna check out this other block here, and then we're gonna hop in the car and go to the other side. Maybe we should come back later, because maybe all these places are gonna be much livelier later in the day.
Here we have more street art.
Check out this hand here.
Check it out, more art. A dinosaur on a unicycle. Let's see this other sculpture here at the square.
It's called the 1971 Tumbler.
Apparently, the sculpture is supposed to be tumbled every season or every so often, so it's never the same. Something I read they didn't realize until years later. We're going to a brewery, one that is a harvest host, and we're gonna have a meetup there because this is how we do it. The brewery is right on Route 66, by the way, and I think we're supposed to park right here. We already have two neighbors here.
See how off level we are. Actually, according to Level Mate, we're perfect. Well, there we are. Another brewery, another harvest host. There's a Route 66 mural right there.
Here we are, Mother's Brewing.
Follow us for a great beer. There we go.
I think this is the back. We have to figure out where the entrance is.
Yeah, we have to go like all the way around the building. Yeah, they really make you walk for your beer. Atomic Mom Imperial IPA.
Well, what can I say? It was a great meetup in Springfield, Missouri, meeting some new viewers and reconnecting with some old ones. Good times were had.
This video is sponsored by eTrailer.com, helping neighbors journey. And that's you and us. As you know, Pelicruiser here didn't come with a ladder, so while I was at eTrailer, I picked up one of this.
This is just one of many RV accessories you can get at eTrailer.com, the world's largest online retailer of custom-fit towing accessories. And they also have all kinds of RV and camping products, hitches, toilets, batteries, you name it. Most importantly, they have US-based customer service 7 days a week. And they test and review the products and make install videos so we can be informed before we purchase.
Been around for almost 75 years, and we've taken a lot of different forms over the year. We've been a blacksmith shop, been a mobile home sales place, and that's kind of how eTrailer started. It was actually a mobile home sales place where a couple of the employees that worked there started selling trailer hitches over the counter. Fun fact, the counter you see here is the same exact counter from that building. Now that building was about 20 miles down the road. It no longer exists. It's not the same place. We moved here in the early 2000s and we decided to go online.
This is our main photo studio. What we do down here is we try to really be the hands of the neighbor. So when we bring in new products, any of our new vendors, this one right here, we don't just put it on a shelf in a warehouse like a lot of other warehouse distributors do. We're gonna get it out, we're gonna touch it, we're gonna play with it, we're gonna learn about it. So these photographers' jobs go way past just taking photos of products, getting hands-on and really putting them together, making sure that we're providing a complete solution for the neighbor, because we don't want you to buy this one piece and then have to come back to us to get the second piece or the third piece or go to the hardware store down the street. We want to make sure that when you come here, you understand that the whole solution is available and what you're going to need for your particular situation.
Click the link in the description below or scan that QR code to get this product or anything else on their website. And I want to thank eTrailer.com once again for sponsoring this video. Good morning. We had a great time last night here in Springfield, Missouri at Mother's Brewing. We had a meetup. So great to share stories with you guys, share stories and ales. And well, now we're gonna start. We spent a couple hours working here in the morning, and now we're gonna continue exploring. I mean, Springfield is home to the world's largest fork and the world's largest footbridge, and the Fantastic Caverns. I mean, so much to see and do. Let's get on our way.
It's another day on the route, but today is going to be, once again, mostly Springfield. In fact, we're going to spend the night at another harvest host here in town. By the way, what a beautiful day in Missouri today. And our next stop is coming up right here. Here we have this Route 66 sign decorated with hubcaps. It is a work of art called, most appropriately, Hubcaps on Route 66. It is part of Springfield's Sculpture Walk. Let's continue. Next up, the birthplace of Route 66 Park.
Here we go, roadside park, but let me show you this. It's a mosaic. Get your kicks.
What can I say? Impeccable timing with the lawnmower. But anyway, very cool collection of mosaics here across the street from the park. The giant Hamburg cross is a replica of the sign on the first drive-through restaurant ever. A revolutionary idea in 1947. The restaurant closed in 1984. The mosaic wall keeps going and going. Here on the left, College Street Cafe and the Car Museum. Yeah, let's stop and check it out.
Well, yeah, huge parking lot, but someone always finds a way to park right next to the RV. Anyway, this is the car museum here, which is a Harvest host. That's where we're probably staying tonight. But let me show you this other roadside attraction here. It's called the College Street Cafe.
You can tell this place has been here for a long time. Apparently since the early 1950s, and it's had several names over the years. The current owner decided to name it after the street it is on, and they've definitely done a great job decorating it in that vintage Route 66 motif. I was tempted to eat here, but I have something else in mind. Anyway, let's check out the Route 66 Car Museum and Gift Shop. They are supposed to have some pretty unique cars here, like this 1971 Gotham Roadster built on a Lincoln chassis, nearly identical to the Batmobile of the 1966 TV series. Here we have a cool looking jukebox, although this one is not that old. It plays CDs, and here's the front of the Batmobile. Oh, that's a beauty. That late 1950s look. Yep, it's a Cadillac. $1929, very cool. I wonder what that is on the steering wheel. A 57 Corvette. A 1956 Thunderbird. Yeah, some of these are real beauties. I don't think that sign is right. This does not look like a 1926 Hudson truck. Well, what do you know? Apparently it was restored as a period racer in 2008 after having been sitting rotten away in storage for 69 years. Here's the garage, where I guess they restore and work on the vehicles. I bet you many of them still run. It keeps going from the Bronze era to the pre-war and post-war periods to modern times, sports and celebrity vehicles. This is totally worth a stop if you're a car aficionado. Here they have some really rare vehicles, some of them I have never seen before. Take a look at this. I've never seen anything like this before. Now back here in the corner.
Look what we have here. I wonder if it can still reach 88 miles per hour.
I know these DeLoreans were never very successful, and apparently they weren't really great cars. But just because of the fact that it was the time machine in Back to the Future, and they were certainly unique at the time, with the stainless steel construction. Take that, Cybertruck. Now, where's that flux capacitor when you need it? It goes on forever. The museum is definitely larger than it looks. But here's a cool specimen, this 1966 Ford Bronco. What a cool car. And what's up with the seat on the bed of the truck?
Check it out.
I had never seen that before. Here's another cool car, the 1948 Hudson Commodore. And here we have a Cadillac, which happens to be none other than the Ghostbusters car. Very, very cool. Some of these older cars are very interesting too, and probably hard to drive, I imagine. Not as intuitive as the 2 or maybe 3 pedals that we have nowadays. We could be here forever, but I'm just gonna end it with this 1970 Chevy Camaro and go somewhere else.
Well, wasn't that like the greatest museum? I mean, it's a lot bigger than it looks from the outside. I think it's time to get some lunch. Actually, we might save the fork for later. Maybe we'll get the fork first. You see what I mean?
Well, this is what happens. Springfield is home to the world's largest fork, or so they claim. But it is a little out of the way, so we're gonna keep on going on the route. There are a couple more points of interest before we leave town. Like the Rockwood Motor Court here on the left, renovated in 2019. It is supposed to be a cool place to stay, with each room themed after a different era, with vintage decor, furniture, and memorabilia. Maybe one of these days. Coming up next is the Rock Fountain Court. This was a very popular design in the early days of motels, freestanding cabins in a semicircle, although eventually that design fell out of fashion, and the actual rock fountain is long gone. We're taking a detour from the route to see yet another quirky roadside attraction. Well, what do you know? It is the world's largest fork.
Well, this is totally random. I don't even know what this place is supposed to be, but according to what I read, this is the world's largest fork, at least by mass. So there you go.
Let's get back on the route, which, by the way, nice suburbs here. And just like that, we're back at Steak and Shake, and this time we're actually going to eat here. I heard they went back to cooking their fries in beef tallow, and I'm looking forward to trying that. Fries and a burger are decent, no complaints here.
Well, I've been meaning to try those tallow fries since they announced it, so yeah, they're good. And we may bottom out in the back here.
Right onto East St. Louis Street, then turn left onto North
Yes, we did.
National Avenue. At the light, turn left onto...
Our next two stops are both kind of out of the way, meaning not exactly on Route 66. But this one is very unique, and the other one, well, we may be saving the best for last. This here is the Commercial Street Historic District, also known as C Street. It was the original downtown of North Springfield. It is nowadays an entertainment district, but that's not why we are here. This is the site of the Jefferson Avenue footbridge, built in 1902. It is believed to be the first bridge of its kind in Missouri and one of the longest railroad pedestrian bridges in the country. It is currently undergoing renovations, but hopefully it will be reopened soon. It would be cool to do something like that. Onward we go to our last stop of the day. Not very lively right now, but very nice area here. We shall return someday, sometime. This is kind of out of the way, but I've been told it is totally worth the detour. I see the sign, so it is through here. We're of course going to the Fantastic Caverns.
Let me tell you, until I saw the sign, I thought I may have put the wrong address in the GPS. But no, indeed, it's through here.
This cave has a peculiarity because of the fact that you don't get to walk on the cave. They drive you around on a tram pulled by a jeep. Cool! That's what we're about to do. It was discovered by accident in 1862, and here we have some historic displays. It's all very well done, very well maintained.
It's the original. Well, before juicing was a thing, they already had juicers here.
And our tour begins.
It's chilly.
I think we're gonna get our picture taken here.
No bridge, guys, no bridge. Hanging low bridge. But yeah, they're fungus. They require no sunlight. 1930s, the Great Depression going on. Not a lot of jobs, not a lot of money. Owner of the property decided he gonna put some gardens in here, so he grow them button-top mushrooms, take them up to Springfield, sell them at the farmer's market, do what you gotta do to pay the bills.
Oh, there's another tour.
You're probably gonna have to go up. You like yourself around. Yeah, you're gonna have to go up. Brown tin. What mineral is that water picking up? Iron, guys. Iron oxide. Good old calcified rust. I told you how fast this stuff grows, guys. Up here at the next stop, we'll be able to show you. Something was put in the cave in 1941 that wasn't supposed to be here. But it works as a pretty good measuring stick to show us how fast this stuff grows and how it takes a long time for this cave to change shape and take form.
Lo and behold, it's a well.
But the day they drilled this hole, water started dripping down. Near the beginning of stalactites starting to form at about 3/4 of an inch long. Yeah, that's cast iron. That's 6-inch cast. It's black. That's 84, 85 years worth of growth. So if that's 84, 85 that we can date, how old are them curtains in front of us? Hundreds? Thousands?
Thousands?
Yeah, probably several thousand every bit of it. That water's about 50 foot below. We'll go on up the road, we'll take a look at the cave in its natural state. What is the natural state of the cave?
Dark.
That's right. Anybody scared of the dark? If you are, just close your eyes. He's in here in the 1960s, this is what you would have seen. And you know, compared to a candle, you're seeing a lot. If you come in here a decade or two later and see us, get you a whole new cave in here. Just because science and technology is always moving forward. That's like these cell phones. Nobody had cell phones in here in the 1960s. Yeah.
These, by the way, are just the highlights of the cave tour. There are lots of things that don't really work well on camera, like when he demonstrated what it was like for the first explorers using candles and lanterns. I totally recommend you come and see it in person.
You look down there, guys, and see the lower level of the cabin. You See that water flowing through, emptying out of that spring, that river I talked about. You have to get on your belly and crawl for over an hour back under this bridge to get to an area we call the Paradise Room.
Uh-oh.
You look up that road bed, guys, there's the mushroom farm. You look up through there, that's where we came in at. That's what this cave looks like with no electricity, just a little bit of twilight up there. No light, no electricity in here, not much to see. Just a little bit of that daylight. Get some light, electricity, you can kind of see what's going on down in here. It is going to get kind of low, so everybody just kind of watch your head pulling down through here.
All right.
Watch yourself here, guys. Yeah, watch yourself. Yep, everybody look up here, guys. Look up.
All those straws, look at that. Oh, it goes around.
Watch yourself here, watch yourself. Watch this edge.
The way they discovered the cave was a dog came in through a small hole while tracking an animal and couldn't find his way out, and then the owner followed him. And that's exactly where it happened. That's the very spot right there. And this is where we're coming out of the Fantastic Caverns.
Yeah, this is low, yeah. Well, for a second I thought it was Jim in DC, but no, it's not a Porsche. It's an Audi.
We're going back to the car museum, which is a harvest host, and that's where we're going to spend the night. I think we've had enough fun for one day. Tomorrow we're doing the rest of Missouri and most of the barely 13 miles that comprise Kansas. But that's going to happen on the next video. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and see you on the road.
So we've had the air conditioner on for a couple hours and our battery's down to 66% on Route 66. How appropriate. I'm hoping for a quiet night, although I've heard anecdotally that this could be a sketchy neighborhood.